Oh, hello and good evening to you. It's Sunday, and hello if you're watching this on the replay. Big thank you there to Reeves Gallows bringing us in there on this rather impromptu show from me, the Sussex Smuggler. Hi, I'm Captain James Bollinger. That of course was the Privateer's defeat, and thought I'd give you a cheers. Grab a tipple, relax. And join in the show if you wish to. You can have a live chat. As I said, quite impromptu. A few things have come up this weekend. Excuse me. Cheers. Bit of fruit juice there. I'm sure you can understand. Lovely on the palate. Absolutely lovely. Okay. As you probably know, some of my the last couple of live shows that I've had, there's been a bit of a sound issue, and I can't work out what that is. So what I've opted to do, and I hadn't realised this, was upgrade my broadband connection. And because I've been with BT for so long on the same tariff, I never renewed it. And I had a good look at it, and I thought, oh my word, my upload speeds and download speeds and all that technical kerfuffle, I confess I don't understand, is a lot lower than what the new offers have to offer. So I thought, well, I'm going to change that. So they sent me all the stuff over the weekend, which I've now set up. There's blue lights everywhere. There's more blue lights here than the Starship Enterprise, I suppose. So I'm giving this a bit of a whirl and see how this is all sounding and operating. But it's been a terrific weekend. Apart from all of that, of course, there's been some event announcements coming up, which I'm really like to be limited to announce, because they are rather good, and I hope to see some. Well, I hope, but we'll get some great bands there at the Weymouth Pirate Festival. Now, I don't have a flyer for this at the moment. As soon as I do, I'll put it on here and get it out to you on my Facebook page and all social media I've got. But days for your diary are the 6th, the 7th and 8th of October in Weymouth, Dorset. It's the Weymouth Pirate Festival, I think, going on last year from what I can remember. It's an 11 o'clock parade through the town from the boot in. I don't know if anything's changed since then, but more will come out. But it's important that you get some accommodation booked. If you're struggling in Weymouth, do look further afield, possibly Dorchester or even the island of Portland itself. They have a regular and reliable bus service that comes in from there. I'm hoping to see some great bands down there. Maybe our very own Reeves Gallows will be playing. That would be fantastic to see them again. So yeah, I know. I'd imagine the Dolman will probably definitely be there. They're busy on tour at the moment in Germany, but it's a really terrific event. I mean, I went last year. We went last year, I should say. It's a bit of a dash getting there in the morning, but it was a good scouting exercise. We went down there, thoroughly enjoyed it, stayed late into the night. We had some downtime in the town. We went to Sutton's Cafe. They do a terrific pie in there. God, blimey. Absolutely loved that. Had a mooch around the shops. My better half, she gets quite creative when she goes into charity shops, so she went in there. There's lots of them about. There's an old pub there of particular interest where it lays claim to the murder of Richard Cater of the Hawk. Not he wasn't of the Hawkhurst gang, but he was murdered by the Hawkhurst gang. It's not actually historically correct. At the Black Dog pub in Weymouth, I believe it is. I should really check these things out before I go live on air, but there you go. I'm sure someone will correct me. But it did actually was a scene of a murder of a revenue officer. It's famous for that. So obviously I went in there for a mooch around the pint whilst one's better half, Her Royal Highness, of course, went round looking in charity shops and that, and then we went back in the evening for the Pirate Festival. We saw the Dolman, Celt, the Boarding Crew, to name a few, some local bands. It's a terrific atmosphere. It's outdoors, and what's really good is that it's not too hot, not too cold. Not that the cold bothers me, not that the heat bothers me, but you can wear all your stuff that you've bought or made. In a lot of cases, you put your cloak on, your frock coat, your trousers, your boots, your guns, everything. You can have your tankard, just like this one, of course. Cheers. Well worth getting to. The Weymouth Pirate Festival 2023. So put that in your diary, get yourself sorted out, get down there. It will be fantastic, I guarantee it. Who saw Damn the Bard last night live on Facebook? What, his house concert number 40? Wow, what a show! Absolutely terrific. I've watched a few of those now. He lives near me in the Brighton area. One day we'll catch up with seeing him because he is terrific, and what a nice man. He's a druid, and he believes in his druid ways, the old ancients. So yeah, very interesting bloke. I mean, great music to listen to, but I'd really like to sit him down and see what he's got to say about a lot of things. And he has an interest in historical Sussex as well. So I mean, it's the sort of person you'd like to sit down and have a few beers and have a good old chinwag about all sorts of stuff. And there's so many of you out there that are like that. It just makes for an interesting place, really, when you get people like that, So yeah, brilliant stuff. That was a terrific show last night. I hope if word gets back to him, or if he's in any chance watching this broadcast tonight, well, brilliant. Thanks a lot. Damn the Bard, absolutely brilliant. I'm going to get an album of yours before long. I won't leave it too late, but particularly like the Albion song, terrific. Yeah, so the weekend, well, it was a bit quieter, a bit rainy as well, wasn't it? So I settled down, and I watched an old film that I love from the 90s, I think it was the late 90s it was made, but there it is. If you can see that there, I'm sure you can. I'm holding up through Plunkett and MacLeane. Liv Tyler's in it. There's quite a few actually in it. Robert Carlyle, Liv Tyler, Johnny Lee Miller, Noel Fielding's in it for a split second. David Walliams is in it. George Dawes, or George Lucas is his name. I know him as George Dawes. I think, well, there's just a whole raft of excellent actors. And I thought, well, Ken Scott plays an excellent villain. Thief Taker General is what he's known as. A bit like a riding officer in some respects. Plays an excellent villain in that, I have to say, a vicious villain. And it gives you an idea of what life was like as well in the 18th century. Yeah, yes, there is some embellishment in it, but it makes it a bit more interesting, doesn't it? But there's I think they try and portray Vauxhall Gardens as it was back then, which is all well and good, terrific stuff. There's as I said, there's some embellishment here. I don't want to ruin the film, but if you get a copy of it or see it about, do watch it if you have a particular interest in the 18th century. It's set in 1748, so it would have been about the time of all the historical pieces, or most of the historical pieces I've covered off on here and on the blog as well. But a terrific film. And towards the end, I don't really want to go into any depth because again, I don't want to ruin it for you. There's a terrific poem by a guy. He's called Murray Lachlan Young. And without further ado, without spoiling the film, I love a bit of poetry, and this is a contemporary piece of poetry that he made for the film. And if you watch it, you'll know at what point in the film he's telling the story, if you like, or relaying this poem, and he's written it himself, and it goes a bit like this. I'm not going to give it any justice, by the way, but bear with me, because it's a terrific set of words. It goes like this. It does not bring pleasure to my heart to stand and deliver the sorrowful tale of the man who now stands in the rattling cart. With a mind full of woe and a belly full of ale, as God is my witness, I shall weep with all of thee, when the drop fell comes and the legs kick the air, when the highwayman dances on the Tyburn gallows tree. Tell me there is a man in all England who would trade his daily toil for a breakneck speed, for a handsome lass, for a casket of jewels, and a life rich and royal, pounding hooves on a moonlight mile, flashing blade in a fancy style, lifting gold lifting dresses, stealing rubies from princesses. Oh, for a week, for a night and a day, for the rush of the wind and the pistol's bray. Sir, for that life would you gladly be a dancing with the devil on the Tyburn's gallows tree? They call him the gentleman highwayman. They tell me he speaks with a plum in his throat. But how can you chatter in such high company when you've shit in your breeches and your neck's in a rope? When you're pissing and screaming and gasping for air? When your fine leather booties are carving the air? You can dance blindfolded as your last dying plea, for you don't need a teacher or half-baked preacher to learn you how to dance on the Tyburn gallows tree. Gallows tree, how do I love the gallows tree! Still as the dead, silent as the sun, master of all the men, lover of none, silently waiting, ne'er blushing nor chasing, no asker of secrets, no teller of lies, right hand of blind justice, old England's best buttress, cold-handed deliverer, feeder of flies, accomplice to murder, mother of shame, gallows tree, bastard of history, gallows tree, taker of sweet James MacLeane. Oh, that's fantastic, isn't it? That's by, as I said, Murray, Lachlan Young, Plunkett and MacLeane, 1999 in the film. Watch it. He does obviously a lot better job than I do, but it's a terrific film nonetheless. Have a go on that, if you will. Brilliant film. Absolutely loved it. The lovely Liv Tyler in there. There are some very comical moments in the film, I have to say. It's an old favourite of mine now. So we had a little bit of watch of that, which is all good. And this morning, when I eventually got out of bed, I thought, well, I quite fancy, or we quite fancied a bit of that. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it, but it stars Henry Cavill, or Cavill, not the old Superman, but a recent Superman, and he's now playing the part of the Witcher at the moment. I understand that he's on his way to leave, but I find that quite an incredible series. I mean, it's a bit of fantasy, a bit of everything. Again, it's a bit of escapism. I think it's well worth a watch if you've got Netflix. I'm not sure if there's a box set out for it or not. I don't know. I just get it streamed in. It's a bit saucy as well at times. It's very political. There's lots of plots and counter plots and whatnot. It's great, and it's good for inspiring for costumes, as is Plunkett and MacLeane. You get that period, the 18th century period, mixed in with medieval, all sorts. It's brilliant. It's a good watch. Again, a bit of escapism. And we're probably only watching it because the weather hasn't been too good or too kind to us at the moment. But nonetheless, a great bit of excellent entertainment. And we find that we actually start binge watching it. And there's something for everybody in there, whether you like Henry Cavill or one of the mages in there. I don't know, whatever tickles your fancy. I don't know. The Bard plays a particularly great part in singing and assisting the character Gerald the Witcher along on his dangerous path. I mean, it's a terrific show. Highly recommend it. Please give it a chance. I've only just started watching it. I've done, believe it or not, I've done season 1, 2, and most of 3 now, and I'm like, wow, it's quite good actually. So, an excellent show. Excuse me. Wet the whistle again. And so there's no slides for this show because this quite literally is quite impromptu. I've done very little preparation for it. Now, another film that we watched this afternoon, it was a better day weather-wise, but I'd already made my mind up, was if you're a fan of spaghetti westerns, which I am. I mean, my front room is covered in film posters of them all. I mean, we know the Clint Eastwood ones, but there's a lot of obscure B-movie spaghetti westerns starring some very influential people in them. And there was one, and the only one, that was made on American soil, and it's this one. My Name is Nobody. There it is, right there. Let me just tilt it that way, and maybe that way, or that way. Henry Fonda's in it. I think he was about 70 when he made it, but he plays an excellent part. Terence Hill is also in it, and it's an Italian filmmaking company that made and filmed it in America. I think in the early 70s it must have been. That's a terrific film, light-hearted entertainment. Basically, what it is, Henry Fonda plays a gun enforcer. I think he's a bounty hunter. Jack Beauregard is his character's name, and he wants to retire now. The West is changing; it's the turn of the century, and he's just trying to get to a port to catch a ship to Europe. Of course, if it was that simple, you wouldn't make a film out of it, would you? Along comes Terence Hill's character, who doesn't have a name, and he's known as Nobody. And he's a big fan of Jack Beauregard, and he follows him around, and he's actually a better gunslinger as well. But it's a nice bit of light entertainment as well. Great music by Ennio Morricone in there as well. It's an obscure film. My Name is Nobody. I'll hold it up again. There it is. Great film. If you've never heard of it or seen it, I've got it on DVD, luckily. A few years ago. So yeah, rolling out the old golden oldies at the moment. But yeah, terrific film. Some excellent firearms in there, which I like to look at. I like westerns as much as I like piracy and smuggling and highwaymen and the 18th century. So some good inspiration there for costumes if you're ever going to go to a Comic-Con or a fantasy event. Plenty in there. I mean, I did something a few years ago, about 5 years ago, a steampunk time traveling US Marshal in vein of the film My Name is Nobody. So got a few pieces together. You might even be able to see some of them behind the wall. There you go. There's a Colt 45 nearest to curtain, and Schofield before that, and on the wall there, you can't see it. Not actually mine. Is a replica. They're all replicas, by the way. Is a replica Winchester rifle that a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, I think he kind of lends it to me for display purposes, and it sits up there. People come round, and it's always a good talking point having your firearms out on display, because you can hand them to people, and they're the correct weight. They've got the correct mechanisms. The only thing they don't do is fire. Which in some respects is a shame. Just like my flintlocks, they're as near as damn it as you can probably get for off the shelf. So yeah, they make good talking points when people come round. So and of course, a few years ago, I think about 2018, we flew out to mini Hollywood, Almeria, in Spain, in the Tabanasca Desert, where they filmed Clint Eastwood and Lee Van Cleef's for a few dollars more and that famous scene where Eastwood gets his hat blown off by Lee Van Cleef across the square. And we visited the film set because it's now a museum, and they put on shows, gunfights, punch-ups, can girls, everything. Again, well worth a visit. If you get a chance to go out there, down the road, I say down the road, it's probably about an hour's drive, if not more, on the coast. They've got a Western-themed hotel down there as well. We stayed in there because at the time we were a big fan. Well, we still are big fans of spaghetti westerns and westerns, really. So yeah, that was my day. But yeah, check it out. I can see I've got a viewer on. I don't know who it is. If we can have a look on the comments to see if they say anything. But yeah, My Name Is Nobody, a terrific film. See if you can get hold of it and watch it. Brilliant, absolutely love it. Of course, so I'll just check my notes to make sure. I just wrote them up on a spin, really. I've mentioned The Witcher, Plunkett and MacLeane, and I've read out the poem. I love that poem; it's terrific. I'm going to keep that on my Chromebook. Cool, terrible. Weymouth Pirates Festival, of course. Hope to see you there. Again, I'll go through the dates. Get something booked up. Airbnb hotel. It's the 6th, 7th, and 8th of October of this year. It will be a blast. I can guarantee that. I would imagine, I'm not trying to preempt anything, the Dolmen will be there doing their thing, which will be terrific. I'm actually down there before then anyway, in August for a bit of a holiday, a 2-week holiday. So I'm looking forward to getting down there. I spent a lot of my childhood on the island of Portland, but we won't go into that right now. And of course, what's coming up, looking at the, as we're going through the summer, we're not far away from August. WinterCon's coming up on I believe it's the, got Butcher Tim in the house. Good evening, Butcher Tim. How are you? I hope you're well. I hope you've had a great weekend. Thanks for joining this rather impromptu show this evening. And of course, get yourself a lovely tipple like I have. A bit of fruit juice. Cheers. Hold on a minute. I'll just get this down my neck. As I was saying, 14th of August is the WinterCon. Tickets averaging for adults and those £15 each. I think there's plenty still to buy. See you there. Just going to say hello to Butcher Tim. Type back because he's taking the time to type to me. I don't know what that's going to go on. There we go. Brilliant. So yeah, that's more or less it. So yeah, also WinterCon, absolutely brilliant. And Cliver and the crew there at the Winter Gardens in Eastbourne, spectacular building in itself. I believe it's a Victorian conference centre. Get yourself down there. It's about £15 a ticket per hour, give or take. We'll go down there on the Saturday. So yeah, looking forward to that one. It's a terrific event. It's anything that you expect with fantasy, science fiction, Star Wars, Star Trek, you name it. The first time I actually met, talking of butchers, Butcher from the Amazon Prime series The Boys was down there. There was a cosplayer down there. I met John Wick. If you're watching, John Wick, hello to you. Hope to see you there again. What else did I have? Let's say, a great place, great cafe over the road outside as well. Can't remember the name of them. They do a great ice cream. But yeah, it'll all be there. All the traders are great. Lawn of the Dead's there. Get yourself down to see James Waterfield and the Lawn of the Dead. I imagine he'll probably be downstairs in the Winter Gardens doing all this creative stuff. They've got some phenomenal stuff down there. They've got games. You can sculpture things, be creative. Nutty Nick and the Pirates from Kent, they'll be there. No doubt about that. Chewbacca will be around. The Jawas, R2D2, the Daleks. There's bound to be a Doctor Who or two there. You name it, it's all there. I believe they even do lightsaber training there as well on the stage, I think. So it's a great day out, and I think it's all charity based as well, I think. do check out the website. If you need a hand getting any of the details for Wintercon at Eastbourne, drop us a line. I'll point you in the right direction. But I'm looking forward to that one. Loved it last year. Kind of glad it's not clashed with the Pirate Festival. Well, not glad, relieved that it hasn't clashed with the Pirate Festival at Weymouth. And it's later on into October, so it'll be very cool again. So you better get all your stuff on. I actually made the last video. I didn't make the video, but I made it into the video. The official and the unofficial Wintercon is on YouTube. You can look at it. I'm standing there. Terrific stuff. I really enjoyed that. We all enjoyed it, actually. And they have the Back to the Future car there, the DeLorean. That's featured there. But I said, so there's everything that you expect. It's a great do. It's fantastic. It is for charity, and please support it. Get yourself down there. And of course, there are some other events that I've mentioned to you before on another broadcast. Let's have a look, see if I've got the slides still. Oh yeah, here we go. Pevensey. So there we go, Pevensey History Festival. There's the QR code there in the bottom right-hand corner. I'll be there on Sunday, I believe it's the 27th. Come meet the riding officer and the smugglers. I believe it's the 27th. You can probably see better than I can on there. We'll be at that. Looking forward to doing that, I have to say. I'll just put the other slide up. Again, if I'm too quick or you can't see it, get in touch and I'll send it over to you. There it goes, the next slide. There it is, wallop. There's all the details you need. So if you need them, let me know. I'll email them over to you. If the kids are bored, bring them over, bring them down. It's free, so and they'll learn something, I would have thought. What else have we got as well on the, this should be good as well. This is another free event. If you're a fan of the Captain's Beard, they're a pirate band out of Brighton, you might want to get yourself down to Pirates on the Pier. There we go, there it is. There'll be some other local bands and stuff going on. Pirates on the Pier at Eastbourne, free event. Come down, put your fancy dress on as a pirate and come and enjoy the fun. Bring the children, get some photographs with some pirates if you want. I'll be going to that. I remember last year it was incredibly hot. I don't know what it's going to be like this year, but it's again another good event in Eastbourne. Well worth the trip coming down. Terrific stuff. So we're all over the south coast. It's incredible, isn't it? Pirates everywhere. Okay, so not leaving Eastbourne alone. Here's a couple more. This is by the Eastbourne Bonfire Society, and it should be coming up on your screen now. Quite quick, this new broadband package. There we go. That's the Steampunk Festival on September the 22nd. Sorry, beg your pardon. September the 2nd and 3rd, Eastbourne. That's free. And then in the evening, on the 2nd of September, is the Steampunk Ball. Some headlines. The headline act at the moment is Alice Strange. So if you need any help with any of those details, that's for the Eastbourne, that's in support of the Eastbourne Bonfire Society. Lovely people, worked with them. Do come along, that's a good laugh as well. No doubt the festival itself, in the day there'll be all sorts of bands, games, there'll be a bar open, all that kind of malarkey going on. There'll be some steampunk games like possibly teapot racing, umbrella fencing, I don't know, that kind of thing, tea dueling, all that kind of thing. So yeah, come down, enjoy yourself. Cheers. Hold on a minute. Oh, lovely that is. So that's pretty much it. So look, thanks for tuning in to this impromptu broadcast. It's fun, great having you here. Big hello to Butcher Tim. He's in the house. Great seeing you. Probably see you tomorrow, won't I? You've been listening to Captain James Bollinger. This is the Sussex Smuggler. The music tonight you can hear in the background, and I'll play you out on it, is Reaver's Gallows and Privateer's Defeat. I'll play you out on this and catch you soon. Have a great week, and may see you at one of these events. Who knows? Take care now. Bye.